connected, but happy Memorial Day weekend, and so glad to see these guys coming down. Happy birthday to Rachel yesterday. And I'm assuming Frances is on her way, but her birthday was earlier this week, and she feels like the way you felt like Colin Waldo, because it's your birthday. She thinks she willed the trip last weekend for her birthday. I'm like, fine. I think we alternate being in each other's intentions. I'll be in your dream. All right, stop talking about your dream and play the guitar. You're raising the bar too high. All right. All right. Wow, it's a beautiful day. We're bringing so much energy from last weekend, and I appreciate those of you who weren't there physically, but you were there. You picked up by osmosis and by your connection. Even what I read to you, what Patty, who's not here a lot, but she even posted, you know, for those of us that aren't going, we're in connection with you, and it was just very. I know we've used the phrase a lot, but it was very next level. And so we bring that energy here today. Who knows what's going to happen next? Well, I guess we know it. We'll decide and decree a thing, and it will happen. I decree that this is going to be a beautiful day. Let's all remain standing, and we'll get officially started.
Good morning, and welcome to Metron. Metron is measure or sphere of influence, and we want to help you find your Metron through motivation, enlightenment, transcendence, renewal, outreach, and networking. Today is your day to find your Metron, and we hope you enjoy the service.
Good morning, Metron people. Buenos dias. Give yourselves a big hand for being here. We're glad that those of you who are here in the theater, we welcome you. And those of you who are here via YouTube, we welcome you from the four corners of the earth. Wherever you are in the universe, we welcome you. It's a beautiful day. This is Memorial Day. And let me just, I'd like to go ahead and observe this off the bat. And first of all, let me say, there's a difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day that I think a lot of people don't understand. Memorial Day is specifically to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Veterans Day is when you honor everybody across the board who is in the armed service. And we all, even if our definitions of things are different, our politics are different, I know we all love this country. And we appreciate what those who made that sacrifice did for us. Before we do some music, and because I have a tendency, once I get started, I forget to do something like this, I'd like us to observe a moment of silence to honor those who did make the ultimate sacrifice on this Memorial Day weekend. Let's observe. And we speak peace to those families today who are in Arlington Cemetery and other places around the country. Those who are Gold Star families, we send the peace and the comfort of the Holy Spirit to them. And we also use this opportunity to speak a blessing over our country. We thank you for it. We're grateful for it. God bless America. And everybody in agreement with that said amen? Amen. Beautiful. Yeah. I'm so glad I went ahead and did that, because I'll be halfway to Chattanooga this afternoon and go, oh, I forgot to do the memorial. All right, this is a guitar. I haven't seen one in a decade. I used to play a little bit, haven't played in a long time. Someone asked me for my guitar as I was dismantling my big office, and I gave it to him. Then I kind of had giver's regret but it was fine because you do what you want to do. And then my kids at my 60th birthday party last month surprised me with a guitar, which is kind of amazing that the four of them got together. And I mean, not just a guitar, but like a stand and a case. They thought of everything. And you know, Jonah, come on in, you guys. Jonah was our artist earlier in the month, and Marshall's going to be back with us next week and for the month of June. But I was just going to do a meditation today, and I'm sure I will talk a lot about meditation, but then I thought, you know what? My kids got me this guitar. I can't disappoint them. So it's been a minute getting my fingers back in shape because these steel strings hurt. It's sweet. No, we need a better picture. What? Who's talking? What? All right. I grew up with this song and kind of rediscovered it last Sunday when the royal couple walked out of Windsor Castle Chapel. Which, if you didn't see the royal wedding, please watch it. It was such a manifestation of so much that's not just Metron, not just Carlton Pearson, not just the Pope, not just it's a lot of butterflies creating a butterfly effect that was all manifested there. It was a beautiful microcosm of diversity and the way the world should be and the way the world is. It just honored so much on so many levels. And who would have ever thought you'd have heard the royals walking out to this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Y'all clap your hands. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This little light, oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. 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 Y'all remain standing. Love is flowing like a river, flowing out from you and me. It's flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Sing it again. Love is flowing like a river. Love is flowing like a river, flowing out from you and me, and it's flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Peace is flowing, peace is flowing like a river, flowing out from you and me, and it's flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Love is flowing, love is flowing like a river, flowing out from you and me, and it's flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free, setting all the captives free. Love is setting all the captives free. Love is setting all the captives free. It never fails. Love is setting all the captives free. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Love is setting all the captives free. Love is setting all the captives free. Love is setting all the captives free. Maybe see. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses. The voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses, and He walks with me and He talks with me. He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet. The birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me and he talks with me, tells me I am his own, and the joy that we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Let the lightning burn its fire. Listen to the mountains as they rumble. What does it matter? The sun is shining. It's only the artist painting the heavens, riding on the wind with a voice of thunder. What does it matter? The sun is shining. See his light dispel the darkness. Watch the shadows all surrender. If you look, you'll see the rose blooming in the midnight. Even when the clouds have formed the image of a sad, dark world around us, what does it matter? The sun is shining. So your sky has lost its color, and a gloomy mist has filled the morning. What does it matter? The sun is shining. Every little cloud has a silver lining. Gonna be a brand new day dawning over the horizon. The sun is shining. Oh, see his light dispel the darkness. Watch the shadows all surrender. If you look, you'll see the rose blooming in the midnight. Even when the clouds have formed the image of a sad, dark world around us, what does it matter? The sun is shining. Everybody singing. The sun is shining. Even in the midnight, the sun is shining. Flowers keep on blooming. The sun is shining. Thank you very much. You may be seated. You can leave it there. Should I just use this mic, Charles? Is this okay? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was fun. What's that? What'd you say? Now, I didn't know y'all. Now, those of you that were taping that, don't you put some looks jive on that? Make sure I look good. If it doesn't look good, don't post it. If it doesn't sound good, don't post it. No, it's cool to. It's kind of the way I felt about the painting. It's like little parts of me that I laid down over the last several years, sort of picking them back up again, and they're still there. You know, the gifts still work, and it's just, I don't know. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Okay, those of you that didn't go last weekend, just bear with us for a minute because we're going to talk about it. And I know that's a drag for typically, but I think we entered some kind of phase where even the ones that didn't go sort of picked up on the blessings of it. Last weekend, I hope nobody showed up at the theater last weekend. I mean, I don't know how many more ways we could have told you not to do it unless we just drove to your house and say, do not come. But this meditation weekend was, and let me say, I'm trying to be discreet. I don't want you to be self-conscious about your pictures of you on the beach. So I never post anything that I don't think you personally look good. If I don't think you look good, I won't post it. So, but I usually anything I post, I think it passed the muster. This is really cool. This couple up here, Denise and Robert that live in Cochrane, who came over. She said, as they were driving up, she said, people are going to just walk up and start participating. And it's exactly what happened. And this couple just came in and got in the meditation. It was kind of cool. But, they had predicted not just rain, but like monsoons, like 80%. And when we got there Friday afternoon, it drizzled a little bit. But by the time we started Sunday night, it actually was ideal because it was overcast, which meant it wasn't as hot as it normally would have been. And pictures are better when it's overcast. And I don't know what video you have. The two videos that are there. I think BJ did a video and Patrick did a video. Just go ahead and play them, and then I'll kind of. Before that was really good. Before we show you what BJ did, like a slideshow, I'll show you. But this is kind of amazing. Some of us were talking about it before we started today. It's not just a little trip to the beach. I mean, this was just 3 weeks ago that I mentioned we're going to go out of town. We're just going to do a meditation. I didn't even give you I didn't fill in the blanks. I said we'll do a sunset and a sunrise. Y'all are on your own. I'm not finding rooms for you. You figure it out. I would have been really pleased if 10 people had gone. And instead I had 35 show up. Some people stayed in Jekyll, some in St. Simon, some in Brunswick. It was symbolic of a larger thing that that many people can understand what you're talking about. Not one person contacted me and said, now what is it that we're doing? What's going on? What's going to happen? I said, and it's not cheap to go there. I mean, it's like, this is the kind of trip, I mean, it's not crazy expensive, but it's not cheap. And this is the kind of trip that usually it takes a while to plan. If we had done a retreat, it would have taken a while to plan. This was just kind of, hey, let's go to the beach and meditate. Y'all want to go? Okay. I'm not going to tell you a lot about it. I didn't even tell you where we're going to meet. I said, I'll get a group text, and once I get there and spy out the land, I'll tell you where to meet. Okay. I mean, it's the most stress-free event I've ever done. There was no drama. Even what little bit, I'll tell you in a minute, what I thought was drama actually turned out to be even something better. So everybody showed up. Some people decided at the last minute to come. It was just great. And I'd been to Jekyll all my life, but I hadn't really thought about where would you even go to meditate. So there's a public beach there, and I thought, people need to be close to a bathroom. I can't, because we were out there 2 and 3 hours. I can't have you out on some, I have to be aware of that. I can't take people out, 2 miles away. You're like, no, you can't. No, I mean, you have to think about things like that. So I thought, well, let's go to this public beach. That turned out so much better than I even imagined, because what I didn't know, it's like on this natural sandbar that I guess a couple of times a day, the water just parts. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. You can walk out nearly a mile. It's close to a mile. You can go out. And that just kind of added something really, really cool to it. So I said, all right, let's go there, because there's bathrooms close enough. And it's the kind of thing, until you get out there, you don't really know what's it going to be like, how's the sound going to travel and that kind of stuff. And Charles had downloaded me some music, and Ken had that Bose speaker, so I could just because you really need music for meditation, and that worked out great. We hadn't even used that thing that you bought until it was like you bought it for this. So I could actually hold it in my hand and walk around with it, and it was easy. And Avery had gone over Friday afternoon to check it out, and they were doing a wedding on one of the pavilions, and I didn't know if that was going to be a problem, because weddings are loud and people are there for hours. We never even heard them, and they had a DJ. It's like I don't know how it happened, but the rain stopped, the sound was fine, the flowers that Avery did, that was something she wanted to do, and I was like, sure, okay, fine, that's fine if you want to do it. And it actually turned out to be this great thing. They actually looked like lotus flowers that people use when they meditate, and it was just as the sun was setting, and everybody's holding the light, and it gave people a momentum to take, a thing to take home, memento to take home, and a pimento cheese sandwich to take home, and so it was great and wonderful, and this is the part that really turned out great, and I'm just going to hope they don't mind me saying this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it, because I think it's a beautiful thing. I don't think they're being this private about it, and if they are, then they'll just have to forgive me for it. But I'd asked my trainer to come down, and he came down Friday night, and it was fine. Truth be told, he probably should have just come alone, which he kind of knows that. He's kind of having some girlfriend drama, which, whatever, that's fine. But he came and did the thing Friday night, and it was great. It was great. He actually stayed and participated with us, and I like him a lot. When I'm training, I have to really like you a lot, or I can't show up. You know what I mean? I'm kind of that way with if I go to a doctor, if I don't kind of like him in the first few minutes, I'm thinking, this ain't going to work, because I kind of don't like you, and I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. I just know I'm not. I kind of nearly feel like I have to be friends with you. What? Is that funny? I do. I kind of have to, and I can tell in the first few minutes, and I really I'd worked out with him before. I really liked Stephen a lot, and I didn't want to damage our relationship. But, yeah, that's us. He's a good guy. But then Sunday morning he didn't show up, and I was like, well, I'm ticked about it, because I covered his hotel and, gave him some gas money, and I'm like, just show up on Sunday morning. That's all I need. So he didn't. Well, I had noticed the night before, I've known Brenda Baugh for years, but I don't know Tony that well, and I mostly know her. And they come to Metron once in a while, but they came the other day. She's the one that I was making her laugh so much she had to get her inhaler out. And y'all were like, Bishop, stop being funny. And when they said they wanted to go, sometimes when people, I know y'all will understand this, sometimes when people who knew me from CITN want to do a thing like meditation, I got to make sure they understand how much we've evolved. Because, you know, like this isn't a Bible study, this isn't a worship, you know, like this is going to be just meditation. So I didn't know if they were cool with that. But I noticed Friday night when they got there, they were doing some kind of motions, whatever, that looked, I could tell they were into it. So on Sunday morning, which Sunday was a whole other kind of magic. I know it was early, and I'm not mad at anybody for not showing up on Sunday morning because there's no judgment at all. But for those of you that were able to make it, it was worth it. Even if you'd only had 2 hours sleep. And even if you fell asleep on the beach, I ain't mad at you. But I'm telling you, there's a certain kind of magic to a sunset, and there's a certain kind of magic to a sunrise. They're two different kind of energies. So we went back to the same spot, and the sandbar at sunrise was even more mystical. I can't explain it, but it's like while we were waiting for everybody to get there, I said, y'all want to walk out there? Because I didn't walk out there the night before. I think Reggie, you and Ken, some of y'all did, but I didn't. So we walked out there, and you'll see the pictures of it. But first of all, it felt like Moses leading the Israelites through the parting of the Red Sea. But there was also, because it was early and the light was just coming out, we're walking. This sandbar, just a few minutes after we were on it, is 10 feet underwater. Yeah, it's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And I didn't even know that was in Jekyll Island. And as we're walking, everybody's just kind of quiet. We're walking, and it was like one of those sci-fi movies that everybody died in the plane crash, but they don't know they're dead, you know? Like we were walking, like, I mean, it was really like like, did we all just die? Like, what just happened? Did we enter another dimension? I mean, is it just me, or did it feel that way? Was it because I was sleep deprived? I don't know. But it was really great. Well, here's the thing about Brenda and Tony. I just kept looking at them. And so that morning, I said, let me ask y'all. I said, what is this, y'all, what are these things that you're doing? And he said, it's Tai Chi. And I said, well, I don't know that much about Tai Chi. I said, would you come up and lead us in it since Stephen's not here this morning? Because what I'd asked Stephen to do, he did let us in stretches, which that was really cool. I really incorporated that. And by the way, he and I are good, and I'm getting free sessions out of it, and he's extremely apologetic, and because he definitely wants to do it again. Because I was a little mad when he was writing on the thing like, I look forward to doing this again. I'm like, you in your dreams. Because when I pay your hotel room for 2 nights, you've got to show up on Sunday morning. I don't care what's going on in your personal life. Show must go on. However, and I learned something from this, that even when you're aggravated about a situation, if you can pan back from it, there is an all things work together kind of thing. So Tony says, well, Brenda knows more about it than I do. I said, well, then both of y'all come up. And it was really cool because Tai Chi is a martial art, but it's kind of like a dance to it, you know? And I was looking at Brenda, and like her movements were really beautiful. I could tell she kind of knew what she was doing, and I just kept looking at the two of them. And what I liked about it, because more of this is coming. I'm telling last weekend was a sneak preview into my future. I mean, there's going to be a lot of this, so be prepared. But usually when you talk about meditation, people bring up yoga, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, yoga. I don't know if my people are going to be twisting up into pretzels and everything. I mean, I just don't. Seriously, I just don't. I want y'all to be healthy, but I don't know how realistic yoga is. But Tai Chi, everybody did it, and it was. I wish I had taken pictures of it because everybody was doing the things. It was like really, really cool. So I thought, well, this is kind of interesting because if he had shown up Sunday morning, I would have never asked them to do that, and it really added something very special. So when we got back, I texted her, and this is the part I hope she doesn't mind me. Brenda, if you're watching this, please let me say this. I texted her. I said, I just want to thank you and Tony. I said, that was really beautiful what you led us in. And she said, what you don't know, we didn't tell anybody, is he has cancer and is going in for surgery in a few hours. And she says, we didn't want to tell anybody about it. We just wanted to go. And she said, I can't tell you how much the meditation helped. And I said, oh, my God, I had no idea. I said, maybe that's why I couldn't take my eyes off of them. The whole time I kept looking at him, I said, maybe that's what I was picking up on. He came through the surgery. I haven't heard from her in a couple of days, but I did contact her post-surgery, and he had gotten through it. But she said, we didn't want to bring anybody down. We didn't want to tell. She said, it actually was kind of a really cool thing for us that you asked us to do it. Because, I mean, literally, they came right back, and he went into surgery. And I thought, wow, I would have never, I didn't feel any kind of death on them or anything. They were just real sweet. And there's even a picture, I think Eddie took it. It's everybody walking through the parted waters, and they're the last people on there, and they're holding hands. And it's just really, I sent her the picture again. I said, I know you've seen this already, but this to me is a very prophetic picture that y'all are going to get through. It just, do you see what a cool thing that was? Like I was really mad at him. I just was. Yeah, that's them. And those of you that were there, weren't they sweet? And it was really cool. And everybody got the Tai Chi. There wasn't one person going, what the hell are we doing? Like everybody, like you would have thought, seriously, you would have thought it was a Tai Chi class. Like not one person said, wait, what are we doing? Like everybody was such good sports, and they're doing all this kind of, I'm not doing it right, but I mean, they were doing all these things, and there's each one of the motions has a symbolism, nearly like sign language. And it's really, really cool. And I thought, now this is interesting for future reference. I could see doing something like Tai Chi included with meditation more than yoga. I'm not against yoga, and some of you may do it. I'm just saying for people that don't usually do that kind of thing, it's too high. You don't just jump into yoga. That's something you have to work up to. But that everybody was doing it, and you honestly looked like you knew what you were doing. I just wish I'd picked up my phone taking a picture, because everybody looked really cool, and I thought this really taught me something, because the idea of all things working together means that even the unpleasant things still work together. Like, did I have to work through some things with him? Yes, and we got past it, and we'll be fine. But it actually turned out to be a bigger, like I'm mad that he didn't show up, but I'm glad he didn't show up. And that's what, I've been teaching on this for a couple of years about parallel realities. Like the worst thing that ever happened to you is the best thing that ever happened to you. Or man, I feel the anointing on that. Or Peter standing up on the day of Pentecost and saying, you killed an innocent man. And he rebuked them for crucifying Jesus. And in the next breath he said, and it happened exactly according to God's plan. And see, sometimes I think when we talk about the all things work together piece, we think it's la, 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 everything's, and it's not that way. Sometimes it's the horrible stuff that works together, but it all works together for good. And I knew that, but I'm telling you, there were so many layered lessons last weekend. I learned about unity. I learned about agreement. It's just, I learned that there are people who definitely hear my voice. Now, I'm telling you, not one person asked me about it or complained about it or, we can't find a hotel. It was like the next thing I heard is like, oh, yeah, we got a room. We'll see you there. Where are we going to be? We're going to a public beach. We'll be there at sunset. Okay. I mean, that's just, I don't know if you've ever put together a group event. That's unheard of. And if you didn't hear what Sonia said, she said, I didn't even know what we were doing on the way down. And Reggie said, well, read the text. She said, I didn't even think about it. It's like everybody, it was symbolic of something much bigger. And I don't know yet what that is. But it showed me that a group of people don't have to have you don't have to have every I dotted and every T crossed. It's a real sign of trust for you to spend your money and say, we don't know what it is you're doing, but we'll show up and it'll work out. And it did. And everybody had a great time and everybody got relaxed and want to do it again. And here's the other thing, and I'm watching my words very carefully. But at our little staff meeting Thursday, Avery and I were talking. I said, I'm trying to manifest a building, but I love this kind of thing so much, it makes me wonder if that's the wave of the future. And then yesterday, Denise, I'm sure if you're not streaming right now, you'll see this tonight. Denise, she's a very astute writer, and she has an ability. Those of you that met her and Robert, they're the ones that bought my painting, Love, which for them even, it wasn't practical for them to go. I just texted them. I said, look, no pressure, but I just think, I know Cochrane's about 3 hours away. I'd love for y'all to come to this thing. And she already had tickets to go somewhere else, and I said, well, then don't stress about it. And the next thing I heard was like, yeah, we're going to be there. And she wrote me this. Proverbs talks about apples of gold in settings of silver. Yesterday was the date that I started Church in the Now. It was May 26, 1985. So I was Judah put together this really cool video of the Church in the Now legacy, and we've had some issues with it because some of the music he used on the soundtrack has got copyright infringement things. So and the way that works, YouTube will just block it. If there's and as a writer, I understand it. I mean, I understand people need to be paid for their work, but so I posted yesterday a slideshow that I'd done, but then Avery said, I think we can fix it, and there's a thing you do, and apparently it was just one song that they had to take off. So when you watch the video, if you haven't watched it, please watch it. When you watch the video, there's a little section in there that's quiet. I think you still hear talking, you just don't hear the music. It may go silent for a couple of minutes, I don't know, but it fixed the problem. And I even forget. I mean, Church of the Now was kind of amazing. I mean, like when some of those big events, when the place would be packed out, when you look at it, you're like, shoot, I forgot it was like that. Like you just see this sea of faces. And I can post it now with detachment. It's like, that was really cool, and it doesn't give me a feeling of melancholy. I just think, well, that was beautiful, and I'm proud of it. I want people, even last night, Ken had already seen it before, and I was noticing he sat there and looked at the whole thing on his phone, and I went over and kissed him. I said, thank you for caring about my legacy, because I do want it to matter. I don't want that to be forgotten. Like in the lyric in Camelot where it says, let it not be forgot, there was a spot. So I want it to be honored, but I don't want it to be grieved over. I don't want people to eulogize it. I want you to go, oh, God, that was awesome, and this is awesome. And this is what I was feeling. As a matter of fact, let me find what she wrote today, because it kind of, it was a word made flesh. It helped me transition from the feelings I was having with the video to what we did last weekend, because I felt like there's some connection. So she watches the video and she says, I'm wonderstruck, tears, from this magnificent facility at CITN and the great spiritual stirring and equipping of the saints that you led and fed for years, to next level beachfront pews nestled in the sand, complete with open, evolved, expectant beings fascinated with a stunning blue-pink sky oil painting stretched behind a mystical parted sea walkway, which leads to deeper dimensions of knowing and limitless possibility, finally extending out into a majestic, infinite universe. Yeah, I'd say you were undeniably born for greatness. And it's kind of what I felt, but I thought, this is really interesting, because Church of the Now was magnificent. But don't you remember, I said to you a while back, I said, I didn't lose 43 acres. I was released to the world. And that's what I felt. I thought, we built something spectacular in Conyers, but when you go out and look at that sunset and that sunrise, you're like, okay, you win. That's like, the building was cool, but this is a whole nother level. So, I don't know exactly. Maybe it will all happen. I don't know. I know, amazingly, we're coming up on our 4th anniversary, which it's just, I was saying this 2 years ago. I can't believe it's been 2 years. Now I'm saying I can't believe it's been 4 years. And I don't know, this year I don't want to go to Piedmont Park. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't, huh? I just heard what you said. So I don't know. But I know something happened. Something transitioned in me, and I haven't laid it down. And I've heard from so many people this week who have told me similar things. I can't imagine how it could have been any better. Show that the thing that BJ did, please. Keep. I love that Liechtenstein-looking pop art. Looks like it's on fire. Cool, wasn't it? What's that? Yeah, thank you, BJ. They went out of town this weekend. Yeah, I was thinking, it'd be cool to do one at least seasonally, like you could do a fall one or whatever. But there is something about the ocean. It's just so, which I know that usually limits you to warm weather. Although I have made a couple of trips to the ocean when it was a little chilly. But typically, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's just that one was just extremely successful. And thank you, those of you that went, and those of you that didn't go. Please go with us next time. And let me tell you, I'm sure this isn't 100% true, but generally, when you make a decision to do something, it works out. Like, if you say, well, I don't know if it's not wisdom, well, then fine. But if you just say, well, we're going and we don't know how we're going to do it, we're going to go or whatever, it will work out. So, good stuff. Did I have anything else to show, or is that was kind of everything, right? Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's. I'm going to give you a word, and we'll finish out this month. Some of us were discussing. Well, wait for the podcast people. Let's get an official start. Welcome to Metron Live podcast, coming to you from Metron in beautiful Midtown, historic Atlanta. Metron people, give the podcast people a welcome. Before we started this morning, several of us were talking about the impact this month has had on us, especially entering into serenity. Jackie said something that completely resonated with me. She said, I've noticed, especially since we've been back from Jekyll Island, I can even watch the news and stay informed, but I don't feel about it. I'm not engaged. And I said, I completely understand. I nearly am watching, I want to know what's going on in the world, but I'm nearly watching it as an observer. And even to the point I can understand opposing viewpoints. I can understand, like, oh, I see why you see it that way. And stay informed and keep your opinions and your principles and all that kind of stuff, but you maintain your serenity. It's I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Our title this month is The Sound of Silence, Discovering the Power of the Serene Mind. And it's very interesting. Even Jack was talking about meditating made him want to cry. And he said, I don't know why. I wasn't feeling sad. I said, I tell you, it's something happens when you really quieten down and get in touch with your subconscious, which is really your spirit. You just can't underestimate the power of silence. I think nothing against prayer and petition. I've done prayer seminars and written books about prayer. But I think too much prayer nearly becomes counterproductive. Like all you're doing is talking, and you're doing no listening. And sometimes you don't even know what it is that you want to pray for because you haven't been silent enough to even get in touch with what you really want. I've been pulled into praying for something that I didn't even care about or didn't want. It's hard to agree with somebody when you're not really agreeing with them from the inside out. And I remember even years ago I was watching, we're not in a relationship right now, and I'm believing that all my relationships will be eventually mended. But I was looking at, Mark Sharona was on the video last night, and I remember him teaching one time, prayer is not the first word. In other words, you hear it first, and then you make a declaration. Because I don't know if you're experiencing this, but I'm living in an era where everything I say is coming to pass so quickly that I'm having to really watch what I say. Because creating is very easy lately. I just say something, and it happens. If I may refer to the trip last weekend one more time, I just said, let's go to Jekyll Island. And a few days later, at least this many people, if not more, were out there on the beach. We just say something and it happens. So you have to really watch what you say, because intention, creativity, it takes on momentum, kind of like a boulder going down a mountain, and like it gets easier and easier and easier to create. Before you know it, you can create hybrids of things that you don't really want. People end up in relationships they didn't want, or taking jobs they didn't want, or buying houses they didn't want, or going on trips, doing all kind of things that they think, I didn't even want to do this, but I spoke it into existence, and your word becomes like an arrow. and you start following that arrow and you follow in the direction, your words are so powerful. And that's why it nearly sounds like a contradiction in terms, but honoring silence is actually a way to recognize how powerful your words are. Do you understand? Like, the more you get in touch with being meditative and serene and silent, the more you understand your words are these valuable gems. They're not something cheap you buy at Sam's. Do you know what I mean? They're rare. They're like something valuable that there's only one of at Tiffany's. And you have to think about, this is the way my words are, apples of gold and settings of silver. So I'm going to be very quiet, because when it is time for me to speak, where the word of a king is, there is authority. When I say something, it's gonna manifest. Every logos is wanted to be made flesh. In the beginning was willed action. We're coming into a place where we are the prayer. So now we decide, I'm going to do this. And when you say, I'm going to do it, it's Jesus crossing to the other side. Now, let me tell you about this weather last week. As I told you, they predicted 80% chance. Ken didn't want to be negative, but he loves that weather app. And he said, I'm just going to tell you so you'll know how to pray. They're predicting 80% nearly like hurricane weather. And I said, I got it. Don't tell me again. Jesus said we're going to cross to the other side. The winds came up. Disciples freaked out. He came out of his place of serenity, asleep in the boat, rebukes them. Oh, you have little faith. Peace, be still. Third level is recognizing that not everybody's where you are, is what he did. And I guarantee you, if it had rained last weekend, we would have figured it out. And that's another thing I loved about it. There wasn't one person, and you got to know, I've had a lifetime of doing things that people want to give me a negative report on. There wasn't one person last week who texted me and said, I just want you to know they're expecting rain. What are we going to do if it rains? Because it might rain. You know they're saying it's going to rain. Like, not one person. I'm sure he's a grown man now, but I always remember that little boy when Harpo falls through the roof. And he comes and goes, it's going to rain on your head. And it wasn't one person that told me, you know, what are you going to do to get rained out? If we got rained out, we'd gone under pavilion. You know. But there's something about, hear me on this, there's something more powerful about saying, we're going to go, rather than, in the name of Jesus, we take authority over the, like, I nearly think, I mean, I understand resist the devil and he'll flee from you. I know that. But there is something about this idea of what you resist persists. And I think sometimes when you pray too hard against it, you make it more powerful than it should be. So it's kind of like the thing wants to come back and challenge you. You know what I said on the way down? You know, it would drizzle a little bit. And I had the moonroof open and I'm looking at it. And I said, I love the clouds. I don't want clouds to completely go away. I want it to rain. I don't want to, I don't want my words to get so powerful that I rebuke rain and we go into a drought. So I said, clouds. This is just how I talked to him. I said, you're so beautiful. What I would like for you to do for the next few hours while we're in Jekyll Island, if you could move out to the ocean so that we could have some dry space on the beach, I would really appreciate it. Did you know what? That's exactly what the clouds did. Sunday morning, we went back to the hotel room and we chilled out a little bit, and then it was time to check out, and Jenkins had told us about a place in St. Simon's that sounded good for breakfast. I said, well, let's drive over there. So we went over there, and it was great. We had breakfast. As we're pulling out of St. Simon's, bottom dropped out. I mean, we couldn't see the hood of the car. And I was like, thank you. That's all I asked. I don't mind driving in the rain. I just asked for a few hours. And it's just, I'm telling you, so many things. I didn't just learn things last weekend. So many things were confirmed to me that I already knew, which means you go on with your plans regardless. There's a script, I referred to it on the beach, there's a scripture in Micah that says, he who observes the clouds will not sow. In other words, a farmer knows that you just have to plant your seed. It doesn't matter what the weather's like. You can't wait till... This is just true about life in general. You can't wait till things are perfect. It's an illusion. Things being perfect is an illusion. You just decide to do something, and you do it. I picked that weekend because I wanted to do it pretty quickly. I thought Mother's Day weekend's not realistic, and Memorial Day weekend's not realistic. And what's in between that? Oh, May 19th and 20th. Perfect. Done. And you make a decision. The universe bends toward your will. The universe conspires to make it happen. If you need to call that God, fine. Let me tell you something. God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, they're not nearly as delicate as you think. When you say universe, Jesus isn't in heaven going, you better give me the glory or I'm going to be mad. That's not the way God, He's God. He's not obsessing over whether you said, the universe didn't die on the cross for your sin. Oh, that's bogus. Don't say stupid stuff like that. It just makes you look idiotic. I'm just going to show you 3 things, and then we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go out of town. This is the Amplified Classic. That is my declaration. Where we go? That is funny. Yeah, y'all come up, but we're going to Chattanooga. We're going to spend the night in Chattanooga and look at the river. Chattanooga is kind of our home away from home. It's like from my front door, it's an hour, 45 minutes. And I like it better in the fall because it's mountains kind of stuff, but it's just a little change of scenery for that's close by. So, yeah, y'all come up. We'll see if is B's fried chicken open on Memorial Day? Ooh, Lord, I'm mostly vegetarian, but sweet Jesus, that's the best fried chicken. Don't tell me about your mama's fried chicken. This is the best that is ever. Anyway, y'all, hush. In the Amplified Classic, Proverbs 4:23 says, keep and guard your heart with all vigilance, and above all that you guard, for out of it flow the springs of life. King James says the issues of life. That little song I led this morning, I don't even know who wrote that little chorus, but love is flowing like a river, flowing out from you and me. Jesus in John 7, he talked about being filled with the Spirit, and he said, out of your belly will flow rivers of living water. I was taught in the Pentecostal church that meant speaking in tongues. I think it's such a bigger thing than that. There's life that flows out of you. Another little song we used to sing in church when I was growing up is, I've got a river of life flowing out of me, makes the lame to walk and the blind to see, opens prison doors, sets the captives free. I've got a river of life flowing out of me. Spring up, oh well, live in my soul. Spring up, oh well, and make me whole. Spring up, oh well, and give to me that life eternally. What I love about that, and it's from a scripture about telling the well to spring up. It's not talking about the life coming out of heaven. It's saying the life's coming out of me. I've got a river of life. It's flowing out from you and me. Yeah, but we need the Lord. We need each other. Jesus said it's necessary that I go away so that y'all find each other. I didn't think about it to put it on the outline, but I taught on this a couple of years ago. In James 5, where it says, if there's any sick among you, let him call for the elders of the church and anoint him with all the prayer of faith, save the sick, the Lord will raise him up. In the Jonathan Mitchell New Testament, it puts a completely different slant on that. It says basically, tell the people in the church who have been through some things to come together, and it refers to touching one another and speaking good words to each other. I'm losing something in translation here. It's really more impactful when you read it. But what it's saying is that it's the people in your life who heal you. It's certainly the people in your life that can hurt you. All the counseling I've ever done in 46 years of ministry is somebody telling me what somebody did to them. So clearly, there's a reason why Jesus said the second commandment is like unto the first. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's ridiculous when people say, well, I love the Lord, I just don't love his people. You can't say that. It doesn't work that way. How can you say that you love God who you haven't seen if you don't love your brother you have seen? You have to find a way to accept who they are. Love them unconditionally. I would never say this otherwise, but since he's posting it on Instagram, it's out there. My oldest son's had some issues, and he's lost a front tooth, and he's getting it fixed, but he was real embarrassed about it. And I'm going to tell you the truth, I was a little embarrassed about it. I'm like, we got to get that we got to get that fixed now. And he's in England right now, and he posted a picture on Instagram last night, just laughing as hard as he could. He looked like he did when he was a little boy, laughing with a friend. Big gap in his tooth showing. And I looked at it and thought, that's who he is. He does, in his punk rock world, they don't care if you lose a tooth. It's a different vibe for me. But I thought, that's my boy. And I thought, it's like, I'm so glad to be at that. Not that I don't want my kids to have excellence, but there is something about just embracing the people in your life and saying, that's who they are. This is how they look. These are the tattoos they want to get. This is the music they listen to. I'm tired of stressing over it. Just all things work together, and I celebrate your uniqueness. And, I can tell you, my son's in a very famous band that's in a European tour right now. So you can say, well, my kids have all their teeth. Really? Well, my son's in a band. What can I tell you? He's famous. His fans don't care that he's missing a tooth. It kind of adds to his bad boy image. Not my thing. But it's so wonderful to get to a place where you can say, this is who I am, and this is who you are, and let's find about each other what we love. And there's some things about one another that we're never going to fully understand or embrace. We're just not. So stop trying to make everybody like you or whatever. There's some things that are they're just different. And it's okay. You don't have to be wrong for me to be right. Do you know what I mean? When you finally grasp that, you don't have to have an opinion about everything. Well, I don't like that kind. Well, then don't listen to it. Well, then don't. That's why, and I finally winnowed it down to where this isn't the case. But that's why I used to tell people, if you disagree with what I preach, then just don't come, because you know what you're going to get. Over the years, I'd have people, especially before the congregation got really big, if there was something somebody disagreed with, I have certain people that would just sit there and go. And I would think, why are you even here? Like if I was that, if I was that at odds with what the guy was saying, I would just say, well, I don't like what he preaches. There's a zillion other churches in Atlanta. Maybe I'll try one of those. Why are you going to sit here and make me get passive aggressive with you? Because I'm clearly not your pastor. You know how you can tell if somebody's your pastor? If he says, we're going to go to Jekyll Island in a couple of days. I'm not going to give you a lot of detail, but go spend some money in a hotel and gas and everything. And I'm not going to even tell you where we're going to be, but we're going to watch the sunrise and the sunset. And you're just like, I guess we're going to Jekyll Island. And, people say, where are you going? I don't know. That guy said we're going there. We're going. What y'all going to do? We don't know. We haven't read the text yet. That's how you know. And if somebody's like, well, we got to plan a trip, then I'm not your pastor. Go to the head of the class. She quoted Abraham, Hebrews 11. Abraham left the Ur of the Chaldees, not knowing where he was going. Drop the mic. Two quotes I want to show you, and then we'll wrap it up. Emerson says, nothing external to you has any power over you. If it's an issue, it's because you've let it be an issue. Satan has come to me, but he has nothing in me. Very simple statement there, extremely profound. You can imagine that it's demons attacking you or whatever. If that's the lane you want to drive in, fine. You'll find lots of people who need a devil. But it's like 285 on rush hour. And there's a lot of money in devil stuff. There is. It's just like you. But when you finally realize, God created me in Elohim's image. Fred, we got to go back and look at that Elohim thing even more. The fact that the Elohim says, let us make man in our image, what that even speaks to me is that all the different people that you are, do you understand what I'm saying? All of it is necessary. Your mature self, your immature self, your got it together self, you know what I mean? All of it is you. I mean, honestly, I'm looking at that video last night because I hadn't looked at it in a while. And I look so different in 1985. It really looks like another person. Like, was that me? And some of the stuff, I'm like, wow, I was really full of myself. And then other stuff, I'm like, oh, that was really anointed. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and I am candid enough that I can see all of it. I can see like, I remember why you wore that shirt. Seriously. And then there's other stuff. I'm like, whoa, that was God. Not all of it. Some of it, there was me and God and me, and sometimes more. You know what I mean? And it's like when you just embrace all of that. Have you ever been self-serving? Yeah. Have you ever been immature? Yeah. Have you ever been what I have? You have what? It's so. It kind of works this way. The more unconditional love I have for you, the more unconditional love I have for myself. The more unconditional love I have for myself, the more unconditional love I have for you. The more allowances I make for you, the more allowances I end up making for myself. The more allowances I make for myself, the more allowances I end up making for you. It's a completely different reality. You don't even have to be defensive anymore. Just say, yeah, sometimes, I've been selfish before. Yeah, yeah, what's your point? And I've also laid down my life before. And all of it is a part of me. Let us make man in our image, all of you. What? Not let me make man in my image. Let us embrace everything that you've ever been. All your mistakes, all your wrong moves, all your codependent relationships. All your wood, hay, and stubble. Embrace it along with the pure gold, because it's all part of you. Let us. And furthermore, and I've been teaching this for years, the Isaiah prophecy is, unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. I can't see God without you. God is always revealed to an us. God's not revealed to a you or a me. He's revealed to an us. Yo, where two or three gather together in my name, that's where God is. Well, I don't need anybody. Oh, yes, you do. Well, you don't know. I've been hurt by people. Baby, I got 2,000 people blocked on Facebook. I win. Watching that video, it's like a series of people that don't speak to me now. And I'm like, oh, I forgot they were even there, you know. And it's like I watch it nearly with amusement now, because it's all us. I would not be who I am today. I couldn't have got y'all out on that beach last weekend if there hadn't been a church in the now. We went there, we did that. We went to another place. I thought y'all went to a theater. No, we didn't go to a theater. We went to another dimension. And then finally, this woman says, life has its rhythm and we have ours. They're designed to coexist in harmony so that when we do what is ours to do and otherwise let life be, we garner acceptance and serenity. One reason I had everybody join hands last Saturday night and stand there at the edge of the surf, and some of y'all, the tide was coming in, and it was y'all were sinking, but I wanted everybody to get in that rhythm of the tide, coming in, going out, coming in, going out. And to sync up our heartbeats with one another. I mean, that's scientifically proven. You stand there and hold somebody's hand for a length of time. It's crazy. I know I've referred to this before. This is a mature audience. But women who work together in the same offices, their monthly cycles sync up. How do you even explain that? That shows you how we automatically are geared for connection. I don't understand. Oh, yeah. So there's a certain amount of need that you have just to be with other people and to connect with them. Can people hurt you? Yeah. Can people misunderstand you? Oh, yeah. It's so interesting to me how people hear different things, and like I'm constantly reminded, wow, no two people are looking at the world the same way. So you have to keep making contact to be able to be on that same page, stay in that same flow. Does serenity come from being alone? Yeah, partly. And it also comes from being together. That's one thing. You know, it's been nearly a year ago that I started meditation. It was in August of last year. And the first time I did it, I was amazed at how y'all all got it. Like everybody, like, oh yeah, we totally, get it. And it doesn't mean that you've become Buddhist. It means, not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, oh, that would be terrible. Well, no, Buddhists are really nice people. I'm not even mad at that. But you can love Jesus and still meditate. Jesus was much more Zen-like than you realize. If Jesus were walking the earth today, he'd have much more in common with shamans and holy men and witch doctors. And he was out of the. He just colored outside the lines. And so we embrace serenity. Let's all stand. You don't have to join hands, but just be aware of the people around you and just be quiet with them for a minute. Just kind of soak up their essence. Do you come to church to be in the presence of God? Yeah, but you also come to be in each other's presence. Jesus tells his disciples, with great desire, I have desired to eat this Passover with you. And that's when he said, this is my body. The people you're standing with aren't perfect, but they're beautiful people. Beautifully imperfect, imperfectly beautiful. So before you leave today, I speak peace, serenity, silence, quiet, rest, tranquility. He leads you beside the still waters. Peace of mind, mind of Christ. Assurance, confidence, grace, joy. You sleep well tonight. Have a beautiful day tomorrow, however you celebrate it. We welcome the summer. Summer's a beautiful season. We welcome it. We welcome whatever is next for us as individuals. We welcome whatever is next for Metron. And we leave the Ur of the Chaldees not knowing where we're going. And we'll know it when we get there. We embrace the lessons we learned last weekend. My sheep know my voice. Blessings. Amen. Please remain standing and we'll play this and then we can go. Did you get anything out of this?
Contributing to
this
Metron
month
is quick and easy. Simply text the amount you would like to give to 404-620-5044. And now you can give anytime by texting this number. You will then receive a one-time registration form that links your phone number and opens your account at SimpleGive. Complete the form and you will then receive a successful registration and donation page. For additional information on your account, visit bishandthenow.com and click the support tab.
If you're making a check, make
then
the
my online donation. When you contribute to Metron, you're also supporting the charity or organization of the month. Thank you for your investment in Metron.
If you have cash, pay it forward. God bless you. I love you. Peace. Happy Memorial Day.